My camera was not recording when I used a primer. Yes, I used an eyeshadow primer. It was the NYX eyeshadow base in the shade Neutral. I'm using a very bright palette. This was by Morphe. I don't know the name of it, but I will leave the name or the number down below. I used this very bright hot pink, and I put it on the outer part of the eye, and then just bring it inwards, like kind of like that's a transition color. And I'm using a fluffy blending brush, which is probably, and I'm almost 100% sure, is the Coastal Scents, one of my favorite brushes that I love. Next, I went ahead and I chose this purpley eye color. It's so beautiful. This is, I believe, from the same Morphe palettes. I wanted to apply it on the outer part of the eye. I'm using more of a dense brush, and then I went ahead and used the previous brush, which was more of a fluffy blending brush, just to smooth out and blend out the edges on the outer part of the eye and make sure it's all nice and flawless. I decided to play with another palette. This one is the Urban Decay Electric palette. I used this really bright blue matte eyeshadow that is called Chaos. It is such a stunning color. I'm applying it again on the outer part of the eye, but I'm bringing it a little bit more towards the lid, the inner lid. It is such a stunning color. I used another dense brush to apply it because I really want to make sure that that color, it is on there. And then I did blend out the edges with a fluffy brush, but again, going back and reapplying it because you do not want to lose that pigmentation. We're going to continue using the Urban Decay Electric palette. The shade that I'm using is called French. It's a bright metallic teal color that is, oh my god, I feel like using colors all over again, even if it's fall. So I'm applying it on the rest of the lid with a flat shaded brush. And then I want to make sure that I do blend out the edges between the teal shade and the blue eyeshadow shade that I put on the outer corner. Oh my god, stunning. That's all I have to say. On her brows, I decided to use the Mary Luminizer highlighter. I feel like this highlighter is a push-up bra for the brow bone. Yep, that's how I feel about this. Here I'm just using a makeup remover wipe just to clean out all the eyeshadow fallout, etc. that, you know, that happens especially with all these bright eyeshadow colors. And then I'm also gonna clean out the edges of the outer part. It gives you a nice sharp look. And then I'm gonna focus on the rest of the face. Now, speaking of face, we're going to move on to a moisturizer. I did use a simple face moisturizer. Again, my camera did not film it, but I'm here using my Makeup Forever Smoothing Primer. I love this primer because, I don't know, it just gives like a perfect canvas prior to your foundation. For foundation, I use this cream foundation palette, and this is by the brand called Poise. I use two shades. The first one is a warm olive, and the second one is called Fair Euro. Because this is such a thick foundation, or the consistency is very thick, I decided to use the Tarte Maracuja oil just to change the consistency. And then, as you guys can see, I'm using my beauty blender, but the coverage is legit, like more than full coverage. It is stunning. For the under eye, I did use a concealer. This was by NYX, the HD concealer in the shade Glow. Again, my camera did not film it, but that's what I used. I remember that. And then to set it, I use my Holy Grail Kat Von D Shade and Light. I use the peachy shade, which is called Lucid, if I'm not mistaken. And then also I use Lyric, which is that yellow banana shade. And I'm using this on the under eye and on the areas that I did highlight the face. Now, to set the rest of the foundation, I decided to use my Vera Moore Cosmetics. These are translucent pressed powders. They are very pigmented. I used two shades. The first one is called Buff and the second one is called Shell. To add a little warmth on her face, I decided to use another pressed powder by Vera Moore Cosmetics. The one that I'm using is a classy brown, and I'm using an angle brush, so I give it a little bit more definition, and I do the little number 3 on the outer part of her face. I love to see her laugh because we're having so much fun. Genuinely, we had such an amazing time. Contour her nose, I'm using my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and I'm using the shade that is right in the middle that's called Shadow Play. I love this too, and when it comes to contouring, I'm using a fluffy blending brush at first, and then I'm gonna go ahead and use my oval brush just to blend out the edges. Even though if it was 20 bucks, this baby is amazing. To snatch that nose even more, I'm using my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I mean, is it surprising? No, not really. I'm using the peachy shade, which is called Lyric, and I'm using a flat shadow brush right on the bridge of the nose to accentuate that nose a little bit more. Yes. Now we're gonna move on to the brows, and I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Pro palette. I'm using the shade that is called Shadow, what it's called? It's called Dark Brown. And I mean, she already has amazing brows. I was just like, why are you so perfect? Why? I'm so jealous because I wish I could have those brows. But anyways, she looks amazing. I'm just filling in the eating a teeny little bit, and I'm gonna go ahead and set those brows with that Benefit Gimme Brow Gel. For the lower lash line, I use this bright matte orange eyeshadow. I'm using it with a fluffy blending brush just to be a transition color first. I'm using the same purple eyeshadow that I use on her lid, and as you guys can see, I'm applying it on the lower lash line. Now I'm gonna go back with the Urban Decay Electric palette, and I'm using that electric blue matte eyeshadow, and I'm only applying it on the outer part of the eye and also connect it with the outer corner. Right on the inner 1/3 part of the eye, I'm using this green eyeshadow that is called Freak from the Electro palette. I'm using a flat shaded brush, and on the tear duct as a highlight, I'm using this lime yellow eyeshadow that is called Trash, again from the Electro palette. It is stunning. I love the whole like combination of all these colors. Now we're gonna add a little mascara. I'm using my Loreal telescopic mascara, and I'm applying lots and lots of coats on the top and lower lashes. I decided not to use false lashes. I was gonna do it, but I feel like I really want the showstopper to be, in this case, these eyeshadows, because the colors are so vibrant and fun. Now we're gonna move on to the highlighter. I'm using the Balm Luminizer. Not only I like to use whether it's a fan or any type of brush, I like to also blend out the edges with my finger just to blend out those edges. And I'm also gonna apply the highlighter on the areas that the sun would typically hit you. Now we're gonna move on to the lips. I wanted to keep them neutral and nude as possible because obviously I want the eyes to really be like the bold look and this entire face. So I went ahead and I used this NYX retractable lip liner. It's in the shade Natural, and then I made a little boo-boo, so I decided to use the foundation, clean the outer parts of the eyes, and then just make sure that I set it with some powder so it's nice and perfect. For lipstick, I'm using this Revlon Colourburst Matte Lip Balm. This is in the number 230. This is my go-to nude color when it comes to doing a neutral lip. I don't know why, but I just love it. Then I went ahead and I used the Maybelline lip color palette. I used the lightest shade, which is all the way onto the left side, and just I saw that it gave me a little more color, but it wasn't as glossy as I wanted it to be. So for more gloss, I wanted to bring out the big guns, and I decided to use my Maybelline Lip Studio Shine Shot Lip Top Coat. It is a mirror. It's so shiny. I love it. Now moving on to hair, I just wanted to keep it very simple. All I did is obviously brush her hair. I used a lot of hairspray and also some gel because she has some baby hairs. I just wanted to keep it like slick and simple. To cover her gray hairs, all I did is I used my ABH Brow Pro palette, or you can even use eyeshadow depending on the hair color that you have, and just cover them. This is the final look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've missed you guys. It's been more than a hot minute. If you guys like this type of makeup looks that are not necessarily on my face, leave your comments and requests all down below. I would appreciate it. If you liked it, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And until the next time, I will see you on my next video. Mwah. Besitos. Bye.